are very thorough in doing their jobs, you understand? And they litigate a lot in government, that you have three arms of government that are actually supposed to watch each other. You know what I mean? Play an oversight function. But is that really what is happening in Nigeria? We know that the executive has a lot of influence over the judiciary. When the executive keeps providing for the judiciary, like judiciaries are beggars, you know what I mean? I mean, why would you, if you can allow them to be really autonomous, you understand what I'm saying? And then, you know, do the, I think things will change.
All right, let's leave it there. I want to say a very big thank you to Chukwudi and ENUGU, PhD. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you
for your time this morning.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, we're back after this. Do stay with us.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was...
Why the main market is in chaos? People...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
Israeli airstrikes. Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Thank you so much.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
You're welcome, sir.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that...
Say aye.
We have taken the move by the
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
This is still the morning show here on Signature TV. Today, January 20, 2025. It's a Monday. Hope your week is kicked off on a brighter note. All right, so we'll switch gears to some interesting discussions as it relates to fire. all right, there has been rising incidences of fire around the country. And we want to speak to these issues, especially now that we're still in a dry season and we're seeing that the Hamatans are, you know, giving way, even though we're still within the dry season period. We're hoping that no fire incidences will come your way, but even if it does, the things you could do, what numbers to call, where to go to, wherever you are within the ENUGU metropolis. We have with us live in the studio the chief fire person in Enugu State. He's the director of Enugu State Fire Service here in Enugu State. Good to have you, sir. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, Engineer Okudili Oha. I hope I got that right.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So what for you are the major causes of fire incidences?
And to me, as a fire officer, we have three possible causes of fire outbreak: carelessness, arson, and natural cause. But in this part of the world, the majority or the major causes of fire outbreak is what we call human activities, which falls into carelessness. For example, if we are talking of, if we are taking the tanker explosion in Niger the other day, you will see it is a human activity that resulted in that. We know that the tanker filled with PMS got broken, that fell down, and the activities was people was scoping the fuel, which is carelessness. So, and that resulted in a very serious fire outbreak where we lost so many lives, made the souls raised in perfect peace. So, and if we equally bring it down to Enugu here, the other day we had a fire incident at Ijawele Bush Bar, and for now, we have not concluded our investigations, but the available information to us shows that it may be as a result of bush burning. That is equally human activity, and it's equally carelessness, because we have been hammering that people should not put fire on the bushes around the residential buildings, and we equally have been advising people to clear the surroundings of bushes. And in a situation by which you were not able to clear your surroundings of bushes, and there is a fire incident that resulted from the bushes and it spreads to your building, it is equally as a result of carelessness. So in Nigeria, in Africa, we will say that the majority of fire outbreaks that occurs within this our region is as a result of human activities leading to carelessness.
Oh, wow. Interesting as you put it that way. But again, there should be rules and regulations guiding how human beings relate with fire. I mean, imagine nobody prays for fire to burn, you know, around them. That will cause chaos. But imagine you as an individual having seen fire becoming a dangerous, you know, situation. How do you advise that people react?
Yeah, we have rules and regulations guiding the activities of human beings in relation to fire outbreak, or how
We are right now with the wife of the man that was
Why the main market is in chaos? People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
We have taken it through by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald
Lebanon.
Trump left us the worst on
Welcome back. So just before the break, we're speaking to the Chief Fire Director here in Enugu State, Engineer Okudili Oha, giving us an insight into how people can engage fire. There's rules and regulations. I'm sure most people don't even know that there are rules and regulations you should apply when you are engaging fire. Director, thank you so much for still staying. You were actually trying to give us rules and regulations of engaging fire.
Yeah, I was saying that how to be fire safety conscious is that you're supposed to start from during the construction of a building, and maybe if you are not the person that did the construction, maybe you are in a rented apartment, you have to invite fire service for risk assessment, so that fire service will advise you properly on the suitable fire fighting equipment you have to install. And upon installation, they will teach you how to use the fire installations so that if there is a fire emergency, you can be able to attend to it while calling fire service. Because it is well known that anybody that is available or that is present in the scene of fire is far more important than a firefighter. That most of the fire incidences we experience were able to do much damages because people around didn't have, maybe they didn't have fire extinguishers, or even if they have it, they don't know what to do with it. And a well-tackled fire should be tackled when it is just starting, not when it has escalated. And coming to the rules and regulations guiding fire safety in the country, first of all, every building is supposed to have a firefighting equipment, like a fire extinguisher, water hydrant, and so on and so forth. And there's some areas that are marked not to use maybe smoke. There's some places you will see that they will write no smoking, no this, no that, like in filling stations. You don't need to answer your call in filling stations. You don't need to smoke within filling station premises. These are part of the rules. And for you to run a business without fire extinguisher is an offense. And I was happy when I was entering this building. I saw industrial size of fire extinguisher, the one we normally call 50 kg DCP, dry chemical powder. This is to show that the signature TV is fire compliant. For now, I've not gone around properly, but for the ones I have seen, which I have access to, I'm happy that I have it. So these are some of the rules. And we need to invite fire service from time to time to come and do risk assessment of our environment.
So I'm just wondering, does the fire service conduct maybe regular trainings for its personnel, to handle maybe fuel-related explosions and accidents?
Yeah, every year and mostly monthly, we'll have what we call sessional lecture. And we'll have lectures from time to time, like police. Police every Monday, they have lectures. Those lectures, or some people call it meeting, is for us to get ourselves updated, reviewing what happened within us and what happens outside us. And I have to tell us that Enugu State government has been very, very serious with capacity building. I have to tell you that we have gone on overseas training. In 2019, I went to Fire Service College, London, to do risk assessment training. In 2022, I was equally in the University of Leeds to do safety design. So it's not just that we are having in-service training our people, our personnel on how to know, how to be up to date, because fire is like a science. It gets revolving, it gets improving, it gets having attitudinal change. So we are equally embarking on foreign training, and last year we were in Lagos where we did the international fire conference. It's equally a capacity building program which lasted for 5 days, and the Enugu State government sponsored fire 5 fire officers from the state. And the aim is after that we'll come back and train other people who didn't attend with us. So we have been doing in-service training, and the state government has been providing logistics for us to do those training.
So are there any challenge, that the fire service corporation is facing in terms of equipment, training, and all of that?
Yeah, there's no establishment that is not facing challenges because nothing is perfect in this world. First of all, the major challenge we have is that we are stretched. We don't have enough staff. We are running short of manpower, which we know government is doing something. And coming to training and safety wears, there's something we call PPE. We are stretched there, and we are calling on corporate bodies and individuals to come to the aid of the state government. Fire service funding should not be left alone for the state government. We need collaborative efforts. And I want to commend some people or some corporate bodies that has been helping fire service, like ENUGU residents. They have just procured a firefighting truck, which they will donate to the state fire service. They equally built a fire station in the ENUGU estate, which is commendable. If other estate developers can copy them and do what they are doing, I believe the fire service will improve more. So, and I equally have to thank Western and Nsoka, who has a fire truck and fire department, which normally helps us to fight fire within Nsoka metropolis. And federal fire, we have federal fire in ENUGU, and we are equally collaborating with them. So we have challenges, and we are calling on people to come to the aid of the state governments to fund one thing or the other, to provide one thing or the other for fire service.
All right, how effective really are the laws of enforcement when it comes to fire administration in Nigeria? Do you think we have adequate laws to tackle or mitigate against fire?
Yeah, we have adequate laws. It's a matter of having the willpower to implement them. Because ENUGU State Revised Law of 2004 make a provision of, in fact, fire service is like a law in that law. If you go through the law, you see that fire service has power even to do demonstration, demolition, as far as the person, the fire service can prove that building is causing obstruction to fire service having access to fight fire. So, but in our system, it's not to make law is our problem. Our problem is implementation. And this ENUGU State Fire Service has started sensitization for the past 2 years, and we have equally gotten magistrate courts to start trying people. But we want to sensitize people first. We have to give people free time to adjust, because even in the fire service law of ENUGU State 2004, we are mandated to give people 3 to 6 months notice before taking action. So that is what we have been doing, writing to people, doing sensitization, that people should know that very soon we'll start taking them to our special courts. At the same time, giving them time to adjust. Because if I come here now and you don't have fire extinguisher, I have to do risk assessment and write to you that you don't have so number of fire extinguishers, that you're supposed to have it, and they're supposed to give you time. Depending on how fire prone, the time can be determined by how fire prone this area is. If it is a place that a fire can occur at any time, I may give you 1 week. If it's a place like this type of year, I can give you 1 month to get fire extinguished. It is after the expiration of that 1 month that I can now say that you have defaulted.
All right. Do you people have an enforcement arm? What I mean by that is, I'm trying to give an example now. If you arrive at a particular location, say for instance, a tanker has just spilled its content and you have people scooping it. When you get there and see people scooping it, do you have the ability to arrest those people? Because what they're doing is wrong, and they're also stealing. So you needed to push them out at least, or maybe arrest them to do your job. What if they refuse to go out from that location? What do you do? Do you arrest them? Do you have that does the law back you to arrest those kinds of people?
No, we can't arrest. We are not police. We are not civil defense. What we can do is to educate them on the dangers of what they are doing, and if they refuse, we'll not invite police. We'll not inform police to come and do the arrest. Police or civil defense. These are the people that are constitutionally empowered to do arrest. Fire service cannot arrest.
Do you think it is okay to have that powers for you to make that arrest?
It
there?
will be okay, but a lot of things will come into play if we must have that power. Maybe we will need to have cell. We don't have cell, so we can't even arrest now. So it's not to make a law, it's to make an enabling environment for that law to exist or that law to be effective. So I believe the way we have been doing it is fine, reporting to the necessary authority that have the facilities to do arrest, the facilities and the manpower and the constitutional power to do arrest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, on the scene of fire outbreak, for instance, what is the first thing before the arrival of firefighters? What is the first thing or first precaution or measures you think that people should do? Because I watched a video online. I saw a fire outbreak on an electric pole, and some people were pouring water. What should people do first?
It's to call fire service. It's to call fire service. And if you can remember, there was a time I was saying that people need to procure fire equipment, and on the process of procuring them, the fire service will train them on how to use them. So if you don't have fire extinguisher, if you don't know the suitable fire extinguisher you can use for a particular fire outbreak, then the best thing you can do is to call fire service. For example, with the illustration you gave, you will see that when an electric pole is on fire, you don't need to use water, because that thing might be, there may be a naked wire there. And we are told in our physics class that water is a conductor of electricity. Using water to fight electric fire, you're equally endangering your life. And your life is more important than your property. So in that type of fire, what you're supposed to use is fire extinguisher, the one we call DCP, which is dry chemical powder, which is non-conductor of electricity. And when fire service comes, they will still use water, but that water is mixed with foam-making compound. That thing people try to imitate when they try to mix Omo with water. There's a special chemical for that. And the work of that chemical is to coat, is to cover, is to form bubble and cover the surface of fire. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not every type of fire that you fight with water. So if you don't have the suitable fire extinguisher to fight something like electric fire with the one they gave in illustration, the best thing for you to do is to shout for fire and then call fire service, so that you won't endanger your life.
But then again, in a very busy environment or urban areas where you see maybe open marketplace, how fast do you think fighters, how fast do they come to the scene of fire?
It has been a very big problem because not only that it is a crowded area, people in those markets have even constructed illegal structures, causing access, just blocking access roads. And we have done a very big risk assessment of all the markets in ENUGU. And when we saw that the government of the day then did not have the willpower to do the demolition of illegal structures, we advised the state government to procure fire extinguishers and install in our markets. And that was done. And in most of these major markets, we have presence there. We have some of our staffs there. So what we normally do in such case, if there is fire incidents, is to use those fire extinguishers to put off the fire. For example, I think on 3rd of January 2020, there was a very massive fire outbreak at Obete involving mattresses. In fact, we were still on the queue to enter. Our fire truck was still there. Then, before then, our men and the security personnel of Obete used those fire extinguishers installed by the government to put it off. So it has been a very difficult thing. We don't easily have access to our markets. I have to say it's one of our challenges. So, but what we did as a professional body was to advise government to install fire extinguishers in over 44 markets in the states. And those fire extinguishers has been very helpful when there is a fire incident. And the secret of it is that once it is noticed before the fire spreads, the fire extinguishers can put them off and the fire extinguishers can control it. So that has been one of the major reasons we have not been hearing of a serious fire outbreak in our markets, except the one that happened in December at Maryland timber shed, which they didn't know when the fire started. And by the special grace of God, we were able to control it, considering what was on fire, because timber, everything there is a free burning material. There's no block work, is just wooden work, and you know what is on fire is timber. It's lumps of dry woods. So we are still having problem on having access to our markets. That's a major problem. Not minding that we have devised means of having people on ground and having fire extinguishers. And then Enugu State government is the first governor or the first government to install fire extinguishers in the markets. Mention any market in Enugu, I will tell you a number of fire extinguishers we installed there.
Akwata.
Akwata. We saw fire, that is Tobete. Akwata is under Obete.
Okay.
They have more than 20 fire extinguishers of different types, both industrial size and this.
Is it like in each shop, or?
It's not in each shop. They are positioned strategically, controlled by the Omata, that's the association, the leadership of market and fire service. In fact, if you go through this pamphlet here, you will see those fire extinguishers. You even see the late president of Obete when he was receiving that of Akwata. Go to Co Camp, the same thing. Go to Timbashed, Nsoka, the same thing. Go to Ogige. You even have fire truck in Ogige Market. You have fire RRV in Oba Market, Then. So state government has done a lot of things to make sure that our markets are safe, considering that most of the markets they have erected illegal structures blocking the major access roads in the market.
Talking about rural areas like communities, that don't have access to fire extinguishers in terms of bush burning, how do you think, what is the first thing, or how do you think they should mitigate that, or maybe control the fire outbreak because of there's no presence of the fire extinguisher, of course, positioned in bushes or all these areas?
You can't say they don't have access to fire extinguishers. The only thing is that they don't want to buy fire extinguishers.
And store in the bushes?
Not in the bushes, not in the bushes, because fire is not a magic. It's somebody that will put that fire. The first thing is that we are discouraging people from putting fire on the bushes. And it is an arson. It is a life imprisonment if you are caught. So, but to answer your question, I don't know whether you forgot that we have fire stations in some rural areas. We have fire station at Gurute, we have at Oji River, we have at Oba, we have at 9th Mile, and we have at Four Corners, that is Ozara. So there's a way we establish fire stations so that it will cover these rural areas we are talking about. And in the year 2020, we collaborated with all the local government chairmen to train the forest guards and the neighborhood watch personnel and other stakeholders. So we have been doing something about it because those rural areas are very, very important to us and to the state. So we have done training for the forest guards, for the neighborhood watch personnel and councillors then, and the leadership of all the communities. So in short notes, they have been sensitized, and those local government chairmen procured fire extinguishers, not minding that those fire extinguishers were installed in the local governments. But with those training, you will see that those forest guards, so those neighborhood was they're on ground to know what to do. And I can equally commend some PGs and Igwes that even went out of the way to procure some fire extinguishers for their communities. So, to be honest, our communities, our rural areas, they are highly sensitized about what they have to do in case of fire incident. And we are reaching out to them. And you are not forgetting that fire service is under Ministry of Chieftaincy, local government and rural development. So quarterly, they normally organize meetings for the PGs, and we are invited to educate the PGs, to sensitize them on what to do to prevent fire outbreak. So our rural dwellers, they are equally in the program to know what to do when there is a fire incident.
All right. Some people have complained about the fire service. They have said severally that you people don't arrive early whenever you are called.
Okay.
How true is this? And what is your response time? Say, for instance, from the time that you know about something to your arrival time. I know it will depend on distance and maybe traffic and all of that. Yeah. So what is your actual response time without traffic on a very good day?
It depends. You answered it. And first of all, let me just clear this notion. It's not now, it's not fire service of today that people complain about. You can go to social media, you can open phone lines, you will see what you'll be hearing is commendation. Because we have opened fire stations to our rural areas. Because previously when people were complaining is when it is only, we have only a functional fire station in ENUGU Road. When somebody will be at 9th Mile, you will start going from ENUGU Road. Before you get to 9th Mile, it will be about 20 minutes. But we have fire station now at 9th Mile. We have fire station at Ozara. We have fire station at Ugrute. So those areas, and we are trying to open up, at least if resources permits, we are going to open about 3 or build about 3 new fire stations. In those local governments we don't have, like Ezeago, like Anuri. And like Owo, within Owo, that's MNS side, they don't have fire. It's like in ENUGU East, which is the local government. So what I'm trying to say is that our response time, for us to leave our office when there is a fire incident, we leave in our office in less than 2 minutes. That is what we call it a turnout time. If you call fire service now, they're supposed to leave office within 2 minutes.
Okay.
And even the reason it will be up to 2 minutes is that the motor needs to be on for about 1 minute for air to build air, we call it, because it's a truck. If not that, we'll leave in less than 1 minute. So our getting to the fire scene depends now on the distance and how free the traffic is. But what we normally check is our turnout time. Turnout is when do we leave office. We leave in less than 2 minutes. And previously, when people were complaining of our delay in coming, it's when we don't have functional phone lines. Because when I took over as the state chief fire officer, I first of all did a survey. Why is it that people are complaining? Why is it that we are not attending to fire on time? We now discover we don't have functional phone lines. That people have to do what we call running call. If there is a fire incident in Obiago, that person will use bike or motor to come to fire service. That time it will take him to get to fire service. It's part of what is calculating. That fire started so time, and we are now coming. So when we started having phone lines, sensitizing people, spreading it, people getting it, you will now see that we have removed at least 10 minutes. People are no more doing running call. When you called me, you said that you went to our website. That is part of the platform we are creating to be closer to the people. You can get our phone number. And the numbers we got there were our official numbers. That somebody can go ENUGU State Fire Service now and it will take that person to our website. You see our phone numbers. So it will not take you less than 1 minute to alert us of a fire incident. So now we have removed that running call time. That time you will take somebody to come from Abandi to ENUGU to report fire incident. So that reduced our turnout time. That's reduced. In fact, people is not from time to time you may have issues, technical issues. Like sometime in December in Nsukka, there was a fire incident. I think to Denibo. Our vehicle was attending to fire and it broke down along the line. Westing has to come in. So in that case now, it's not our fault. It's as a result of a mechanical fault. So and that's why I commended Westing, because that factory or that industry has a fire unit. They now complemented us. So assuming that there's no Westing, it will be a very big disaster. But somebody who will be honest will say that I saw this vehicle that is broke down. The battery burst. It was a battery issue, which we have replaced. So what I'm trying to say is that since we have started some innovations, having functional phone lines, people have been commending that our turnout time is improving, and having sirens in our vehicles. Initially, we don't have sirens. We have almost lack of maintenance culture, because we were struggling with motorists when we were attending to fire. Some people were even seeing fire truck as a means of clearing road for them. So with sensitization, with siren, people have started giving way. Because initially, at the first instance, within 2016, 2017, when I took over, when we started repairing our siren, people were seeing our siren as a clear road. And when we started having accidents, And they tried to sue us, and they said that I saw they cannot sue us because we were on duty.
Yeah.
People started getting another belief, another information that if you are struggling with fire service and even if they kill you, you can't do anything because you go through the fire service law. And once the vehicle is on siren, it is time as damage done by fire.
So what do you do if you have multiple fire incidents? Say, for instance, you have 3 different places almost at the same time calling you to come and quench fire. Because I remember there was a time as a filling station that got burnt along the this northwest filling station. I think there's a filling station that got burned. I think
Chris Harris, so not northwest.
Yes, the other one around there. And it was really heavy. And the distance between fire service and there isn't that very far, so to speak. So I'm wondering, imagine you have that same kind of fire in 3 different places. Do you have adequate manpower and even adequate equipment to reach these places at the same time?
Yeah, of course. Even with that example, that day we had multiple fire outbreak that day.
Yes.
We had multiple fire outbreak. But to God be the glory, if you come to Obi Road now, we have more than 4 functional vehicles on ground.
Okay.
We have fire units at Obete, at the government house. We have at Obete, we have at government house.
Okay.
We have at Henliu.
Okay.
So when we have multiple fire outbreak like that, first of all, we are sure that 2 vehicles are functional, can attend fire from Obi Road.
Okay.
Then we can now call government house for the alternative, for the other fire. Okay. And we can now call Henliu for another one.
Okay.
And for example, on Sunday there was a fire incident at a police station at Ibagwa. You will see that even firefighters that are not on duty will come out.
Yeah.
Because of manpower I complained about before. You see that because it is inborn on them. It is like embedded on them that whenever you hear there is a fire,
you come out.
And more especially that type of fire, people will always come out. So, and again, I'm not forgetting federal fire.
Okay.
In such situation, I would normally discuss with them, guys, can you attend this one? Let us attend this one. So what I'm trying to say is that within Enugu Metropolis, Enugu State Fire Service have more than 6 functional trucks. And within Enugu Metropolis, we have functional 3 fire units or fire stations. I said the Obi Road, I said Government House, I said Henliu. These are different stations under Enugu State Fire Service.
Okay.
So that these 3 can attend 3 different fires at the same time. And not forgetting that the one at Henliu is the one that is covering Nkanu West, Nkanu East, and Nili and Ogu. And we have at 9th man. If you have instance between Ugo 9th man will attend from there to Udi and Eziago. So we have multiple vehicles. What we are praying for, what we are asking for people is to support the state government. State government is doing wonderfully well. And we are hoping that before this year runs out, we may have new recruits.
Okay.
To augment the workforce we have.
How do you deal with water? Because we know that there are issues with water in Enugu State. I mean, if you don't go to a certain location in Enugu, you can't get water. So how do you source water?
Water is a very big problem, and we have to commend this present government who has been trying to surmount the water problem. A fire service was one of the government establishment or one of the premises in Enugu that got water before 180 days. And from time to time, we're having water we have fire hydrants in our station. But if water is not running, we have an agreement with Water Corporation. They will normally reserve a specific metric tons of water for us every day.
Okay.
So what we do is like I said, we have 4 fire truck in Obi Road. All of them are filled with water now.
Okay.
We don't go for water when there is fire.
Okay.
Anytime you can come on investigation or inspection, they have filled up now. Okay. And after that, that 4 fire truck, we have 2 water tankers, and all of them are filled with water. Okay. So, and we are working on constructing a 5-back overhead tank. In fact, we have contacted World Brazilians who have done assessments, and we are waiting for him to bring us his quotation so that we'll forward to His Excellency. We need an overhead tank that can contain up to 100 1,000 liters of water. That is another thing we are working on. And know you that we have water hydrant, and that water hydrant has always have water.
Okay.
So that's how we have been. It's not easy, but water has not been our problem.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Okudili-Oha.
I'm not doctor.
Engineer.
I'm engineer. I'm a fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers. I'm running my master's. Very soon I'll become a doctor.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
PhD.
Engineer Okudili-Oha,
Thank you.
Director, ENUGU State Fire Service. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, this is the most we can take for the interview. It's been an awesome moment with us right here on Signature TV, Signature Morning. Don't forget you can always follow us on all our social media platforms at Signature TV News. We are live 24/7 on YouTube at Signature TV. My name is Belinda Nwobodo.
All right, my name is Charles Pius. I want to appreciate every one of you being part of the program. We're connecting to our station in Abuja for the continuation of the morning show. I'm Charles Pius. Take care.
Not the Kamaski, this is the person I'm not
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
to cure crisis in Nigeria is to get a government that will think of getting a policy that will take us from consumption to production. It will not take us 6 months or 1 year for any government to plant.
Hello everyone, welcome to this beautiful day. It's a Monday, January 20, 2025. It's the top 5 at 5. On this program, we'll bring you top 5 stories of the day. Just give you the stories that have trended all through the week, and of course, the one that would most likely trend in the week coming. My name is Charles Pius, your host. On this show, we'll bring you the top trending stories of the day and give you rare opportunity to share your thoughts live by calling into the studio. That's right. You get the rare chance to speak to me on any of the stories. The only issue is that you may not be able to react to all of the stories. You just pick one of them and call me to react on the story. The number is to call 091-252-07370. So I'll take that slowly this time. 0912-520-7370. Don't miss a chance to have your voice heard. Now let's dive straight into the top 5 trending stories of the day. In the headlines, Speaker Abbas laments tanker explosion in Niger, many deaths, and Prime Minister says Trump's presidency will help European patriots occupy Brussels. Details of these and more after the break. Do stay with us. So the Nigerian Labour have been lamenting lately, and the lamentation is somewhat one that is crazy. I mean, they are again being faced with a price hike of the pump price of fuel. They have frowned on the recent hike in the pump price of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, describing it as the height of insensitivity against the masses. I mean, the senior NLC officials disclosed this in separate interviews on Sunday, as oil marketers refuted being blamed for the recent hike in PMS prices nationwide. Similarly, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery also said the rise in petrol price was not from the $20 billion Lekki-based plant. He's saying, that's not my fault. Please, it's the international price hike that is making it go up. But due to an increase in the cost of crude oil, the major companies for refined petroleum product. But I thought some time ago, this petroleum products, this crude, was supplied to Dangote in Naira. So why are we now basing the price to international price? I mean, I'm still a layman in this whole thing. I need to understand that. Someone needs to explain that like they're speaking to a 5-year-old. But on Friday, the pump prices of petrol rose to between 1,050 Naira and 1,150 Naira per litre, following the hike in the cost of a commodity by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and various depot owners. Dealers confirmed that PMS prices would continue to rise since the major component in fuel production. Now, get this right. Major component in fuel production. So when you mine the crude from the ground, from the soil, from the river, or from whatever it is that they get the crude from, you'd have to produce fuel. So they say that the critical components that they use in production of fuel is what is making the price of petrol go up. Does that even make sense to you? I mean, the other day we're talking about landing cost. How come now we're not talking about the components of production of crude, of petrol? Goodness me. When shall we get off this whole talk about, petrol price hike for Nigerians, and even for those who are not able to buy simple gari and rice and beans and eat 3 square meal? They would have to suffer increased cost price of transportation to and from work. It's crazy. Anyway, to some other story. That's number one story. So we have 4 more to go. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has described the tanker explosion in Niger State as tragic and unfortunate, saying the death toll is alarming. It's stunning. I don't know if you've seen videos of that. I was able to capture a video of and pictures of burnt individuals. It felt like, you know, a war situation. You know how it is when you are in a war situation and people get burnt, you know, over fighting between 2 groups of persons. That was how it was. It was horrific. Never seen that kind of thing. In fact, the last time I saw something like that was issues with Joss, but it played out, and it's so unfortunate that we still are in that state of place where we'd have to transport our fuel from one place to another using tankers on a busy road. A speeding tanker conveying premium motor spirit petrol crashed on Saturday morning at Diko Junction, Niger State, along the Abuja-Kaduna Highway. The Niger State authorities had put the death toll at 86, with 55 people injured and taken to hospital. The corpses have been given a mass burial at Diko. Speaker Abbas, in a condolence message issued through his special advisor on media and publicity, Musa Abdullahi Krishi, lamented that the accident caused the loss of many lives in a terrific, shocking manner. The Speaker, who called for proper investigation of the accident by relevant authorities, urged motorists to be cautious while driving. How cautious can you really be? I mean, I can't even personally imagine that you have seen the danger. I mean, fuel have spilled its content, and the first thinking for an average Nigerian is going to go and scoop. I mean, I said in one of the videos that I made earlier that it's the greed out of Nigerians that would make somebody, because it's more than just poverty, it's more than just hunger. It is the greed. I want to jump from one place to another without doing the work. You know, I want to get rich quick. Yes, that's for me what happened. I mean, why do you endanger yourself just because, you know, you want to scoop fuel? Why? It's just terrific. And I don't know, it's not time to blame the dead, right? But I mean, I must say that my heart goes to those who have lost their loved ones, and may God also provide fortitude for you guys to bear the irreparable loss. But the Speaker of Court, who called for a proper investigation of the accident by relevant authorities, urged motorists to be cautious while driving. Speaker Abbas commiserated with the families of those who lost their lives, while praying for the speedy recovery of those who sustained injuries. He also extended his condolences to the government and people of Niger State, while praying to Allah to grant the deceased Janatul Firdaus. All right. The third story. The Anambra Police Command says its special anti-cultism squad in ENUGU has detained 3 suspects and recovered a black-colored Lexus 330 SUV from them. The police public relations officer in the state, Tochukwu Ikenga, disclosed this in a statement on Sunday. Ikenga said that the operatives intercepted and the suspected car thieves driving the vehicle without plate number at Kwata Junction, Oka area of the state on Wednesday. He explained that during the interrogation, the suspects, including Ifesinachi Okonkwo, who's 22, Chisom Okafo, who's just 20, and Odera Ebenezer, who's just 20, all male, confessed to have stolen the car at Isuonucha village, Oka North. The command spokesperson also stated that the suspects confessed to be members of the same criminal gang terrorizing the people of Oka. He urged anyone looking for the vehicle with highlighted features to come to the command's headquarters, Oka, with valid proof of ownership for verification and possible collection. Sad tale, really. Sad tale. I mean, Anambra has been battling a lot of insecurity lately, and part of the reasons why the governor has taken it upon himself to do something tremendous. I mean, he has formed a new security outfit. He called it Udokachi, you know. I just hope that that would go a long way in solving the myriad of insecurity problems that Anambra State is facing. One does not know whether it's been sponsored by, you know, some political, you know, friends of his, or maybe political opposition of his, because of course, you know, these things are possible. Anambra is due for an election by November, and of course, you know that he is, that's Chukwuma Soludo right now, the professor, is looking to return for the second term by November. So it is possible that some of his political enemies, for lack of a better word, might be sponsoring these insecurity, but the numbers are just too much. There's virtually no week that would pass in the last 6 weeks that you won't hear one incident or another happening in Anambra State. Sad. Donald Trump's presidency in the United States will help set off a second wave of massive right-wing political change in Europe. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said on Monday, launching what he called an offensive to occupy Brussels. The nationalist premier has been a long-time supporter of President-elect Donald Trump and has been betting on Trump's victory in the 2024 U.S. election all along. Orban, who has criticized EU sanctions against Russia and kept close relations with Moscow ever since the start of the war in Ukraine, said that EU was in a crisis because it could not ensure the prosperity of its citizens, could not stop illegal migration, and could not ensure the security of its neighborhood as the war rages in Ukraine.
At the EU election, a new right-wing majority appeared in realistic closeness which could defeat the elite of Brussels. In the European parliamentary debate of the Hungarian presidency, this new force held a demonstration of power for the first time. The Hungarian presidency proved the necessity and possibility. The stars under which we stand now are much more favorable than they were in 2024. Not only we became stronger, but in the meantime the flagship of the Western liberal politics had sunken. The Western world received a patriotic, pro-peace, anti-migration, pro-family president in Washington. Only a few hours and even the sun will shine differently above Brussels. A new president in the U.S., a large faction of patriots in Brussels, great enthusiasm.
Well, I don't know if you noticed.
At the EU election, a new right-wing majority appeared in realistic closeness which could defeat the elite of Brussels. In the European parliamentary debate of the Hungarian presidency, this new force held a demonstration of power for the first time. The Hungarian presidency proved the necessity and possibility. The stars under which we stand now are much more favorable than they were in 2024. Not only we became stronger, but in the meantime the flagship of the Western liberal politics had sunken. The Western world received a patriotic, pro-peace, anti-migration, pro-family president in Washington. Only a few hours and even the sun will shine differently above Brussels. A new president in the U.S., a large faction of patriots in Brussels, great enthusiasm.
Actually, mixed reactions about Donald Trump's emergence as the United States president. He's probably going to take over office, and everybody knows that. But all of the things that he has said during his campaign, is he going to implement them? The tariff hike that he's looking to slam on the products of Mexico and that of the Canada and that of China or Japan, and of course the border controls. I mean, how far can he possibly implement these things that he has mentioned? Well, it's time to see how that goes. So he's taking over the White House. Yes, he's taking over the White House. And it is a welcome development in some quarters, and it's not not so much, anticipation in other parts of the world, as a matter of fact, because just like the Asian countries are reacting, some other, North American countries are reacting, there hasn't actually been a proper reaction from the African continent, whether it's South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt. Nobody's actually reacting to the emergence of Donald Trump. Does he really care about Africa? That's, the first thing that we could, ask. Okay, so let's get back to top of this particular story. Donald Trump has taken over the White House. But what does this mean for the African continent? For insight, I spoke to our diplomatic correspondent, Vin Martin Oberelo, to analyze the implications of this development.
Well, I must say firstly that